Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Why are silver and gold coins monetized? Let's explore! For most of us, it may seem a bit silly to see a denomination on a gold and silver coin. Why? Because obviously the coins are worth a whole lot more than the face value that is stamped upon the pieces. So it almost seems a little ridiculous to carry around a American silver eagle that has a denomination of $1 when we know that the spot price of silver is so much higher. And so it makes us wonder, why put that dollar value on there? Or why not increase it to fall more in line with the actual worth of the coin itself? And the answer to that is a little bit complex, but I'm going to attempt to kind of give you sort of a history of why we see denominations on these particular coins that you see before you here. And it's not just here in the United States, but around the world, why coins are monetized. Because you can see monetized bullion coins around the world, such as here on this Krugerrand. You can see that little R1 right there, which means that is Rand 1. So there's 1 Rand. That is the denominated value of that particular coin. And here in Fiji, they have $1 listed here, and that is for Fiji for this particular coin. That is the denominated value there. And even on some of these larger kind of collector bullion coins here, you can see here this one is from Chad, and it's valued at 3,000 francs. There's many different examples of coins out there that are made of precious metals that have a denominated value on them. But there is several exceptions, but not very many, where that is not the case. And that is the case here with the 1 onza, the Mexican Libertad coin. And I'll explain why some people still call this a coin, even though it doesn't have a denominated value on it, later. But the United States Mint, like other nations around the world that created bullion programs for their nation, by legislative fiat, decided to put a denomination on their bullion coins. The United States Mint had a bullion program before the American Liberty Act, I believe, of 1985, and that was the series of metals that did not have the weight or the purity or anything. It was a series of metals called the American Art Series, and those had no weight or dollar amount on them. So they did not do very well in the marketplace, for sure. In fact, even today, you can find them for very close to spot, because there's no markings on the coins that told you what their gold their gold content were. There were no silver coins that or silver metals that related to those. But those was considered a failure program, and that started in 1980. And so that led to this act in 1985 that created what we see here with the American Silver Eagle here that you see. Started in 1986, was the first year of minting of these coins. And then the Gold Eagle here. The Gold Eagle has a denomination of $50, and the various different sizes, such as the half ounce gold, would have a $25 listing, and then it went down from there to quarter ounce, 10, and a tenth of an ounce, $5. And so those are the denominated values of the bullion program that was started in 1985. And those dollar amounts, of course, at the time of minting of these coins, they were much more kind of in line with the spot price at the time. But as time has gone on, spot price has gone up, and these dollar amounts remain the same. But even back then, when they were created, those dollar amounts were merely placeholders to let you know that it was backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government for that denominated value. As small as it is, especially nowadays, the government certainly is taking much less of a risk nowadays with minting these coins than it did back in 1986 when these first coins were issued. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say in 1986, there was a crash in the market with precious metals, especially gold, and gold was to go down to, let's say, $75 an ounce. Well, if they did that, then the cost of production of those coins would be very, very close to the actual price on the coin itself. So it's a $50 denomination and it's $75 worth of gold. You could almost use that as currency, and the government would essentially either be breaking even or going and potentially broke trying to mint these coins, especially if it went down to $60 or even $50 an ounce. Much like, in a way, the minting of the United States cent today. Because the United States cent that we see before us here, this is an old beat-up United States cent. This thing costs more than a cent to produce, but yet they are minted and they circulate. But it's not going to break the U.S. government if it costs 1.5 cents or 2 cents to mint 1 cent. Considering now what's going on with our dollar and how it's being printed at a faster rate and pace these days than ever before. But back in 1986, there was much more fear that the price of silver could drop down to $1.50 or $1. I don't know. It's at least it was highly unlikely, but much more likely then at that case than for the spread that we see today, upwards of $18 for an ounce of silver. And so these dollar denominations that we see on these coins certainly do express and give confidence that they are backed by the United States government, and that is the only reason why you see a dollar denominated value. Now, this particular coin here it weighs less than this coin. This is a commemorative coin made of 90% silver, and it has the same dollar denomination, though it weighs less than the American Silver Eagle. This coin here was created out of another piece of legislation, and it is the exact same weight as the $50 gold American Eagle, but it has a dollar denominated at double that of the American gold Eagle. It's a $100 coin versus a $50 coin. Is it worth more than the American gold Eagle? Maybe slightly in the numismatic world, but not by much. And certainly not double. But that is a calculus as to why the United States Mint and other nations around the world, such as I expressed earlier, produce these bullion coins. The only sole reason why there's a denominated value on there is to show that, yes, the governments have sanctioned these coins with a denomination. It is a way to essentially bless the bullion that you see before you there. And because it was a time when the United States Mint and other nations around the world had silver coins utilized for circulation. This coin weighs exactly the same and has the same metallic content as this commemorative coin, yea, though this coin was in actual circulation. And it was utilized for transactions on a daily basis. It was the foundation. This was a dollar coin from the United States Mint, was utilized and the actual weight and content of it since that particular time and its predecessor here. Here's a more, I guess, prominent example of a dollar coin, the Morgan dollar that was utilized in circulation. But the foundation for the weight of this coin and the commemorative coins that you see today is derived from the Spanish dollar. And that Spanish dollar was circulating and here in the United States and was legal tender before the U.S. Mint actually created these coins, first in 1794. So it is very interesting and fascinating to see how silver was utilized in transactions on a daily basis, and much like we have seen, in other nations around the world, silver was utilized as money, and gold obviously as well. But in due course and in due time, the value of the silver was starting to prohibit kind of what the United States wanted to do with the dollar, and which is what we're seeing today, to where we can print it into infinity. And so therefore, it had become obsolete in terms of what they wanted to do. So in 1964, that was the last year that they decided to mint these coins. In 1965, through an act, they stopped it. And so the quarter here, this one from 1960, was probably one of the most famous examples of silver coinage that stopped being part of our monetary system. But $0.25, and now the price of this coin compared to the denomination that you see on it is almost representative of our bullion coins today. But nonetheless, they hold value, and they will continue to hold value no matter what number they put on it. There's the America the Beautiful series of coins that are out now. The quarters themselves circulate in clad form. The silver versions are collector versions that you see out there, but there's a bullion version as well. All of them contain the denomination of $0.25. So this coin here is a 1 ounce fine silver coin with a denomination of $1. There's a 5 ounce bullion, America the Beautiful coin, with a denomination of 25 cents, $0.25. Pretty amazing. It's arbitrary. They could put 1 cent on a bullion coin. In fact, the Royal Canadian Mint did just that for one of their collector coins for the Farewell to the Penny, 1 cent. And it is a I think a 5 ounce coin, I believe. I know they did it on a 1 ounce coin. But it doesn't matter what the denomination is. All it does is it gives credence to the government that issued it. And it gives credence to that the coin is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government or the Canadian government or the denomination for whatever nation issued it. The dollar, it is what it is. Right now we see this. It is a paper in paper form. And obviously this particular note here, I believe, cost about 14 cents to make. But it is worth $1 when we use it. It's a legal tender for all debts, public and private, by the Federal Reserve. But every year it loses about 10% by design, and but nonetheless, it is what it is. And so are these, what they are. Gold and silver, amazing metals of monetary value that extend beyond their denomination, and they will continue to do so just because of the precious metals that are contained therein. But the reason why they are monetized is so that you have the full faith and credit of the government that issued them. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.